the US had a lot of immigration, like really smart people coming into the country.
Yes.
We back home in India called it the brain drain.
Right.
All our Indian origin CEOs in Western companies.
Yes, I think America has benefited immensely from talented Indians that have come to America.
That seems to be
Obviously.
changing now, though. For a long
American dream now belongs to Americans. That line has been floating around all day. And here's the irony. It came right after Elon Musk, the world's richest person, publicly defended the H-1B visa program, saying the US economy has benefited immensely from Indian immigrants. Well, let that sit for a moment, because for millions of Indians, the American dream never started with a green card. Actually, didn't even start with a Silicon Valley paycheck. It started with a single email, which read, "Your H-1B petition has been selected in the lottery." That one line meant something. It meant parents mortgaging homes was worth it. Years of exam coaching and MS in the US plans were worth it. The visa interviews, the stamping queues, well, in Chennai and Hyderabad, all of it worth it. Tonight, that dream just got a lot harder, because the US has very quietly ended the pure H-1B lottery and replaced it with a system that says very plainly, if you're not highly paid, highly skilled, your chances just collapsed. Add to that an extra $100,000 fee per new H-1B in many cases, and expanded social media vetting for every H-1B and H-4 applicant worldwide. This isn't unfortunately just a tweak. It's a complete reset of how Indians work, live, and even travel to the United States. And tonight on Front Page, we are breaking down that very understanding. So what exactly has changed in the H-1B system? How exposed Indian IT and big tech really are? What this means for students, mid-career engineers, and families planning the United States move, and why, just as America tightens its doors, India is quietly building its own opportunity stack. But before we get into it, as always, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe, because this is a policy shock too many people are about to discover, and that too late. So if you're ready, let's get into it. For 2 decades, H-1B worked on a very simple idea. There is a cap, employers employ. If demand exceeds supply, you run a random lottery. Didn't matter if you earned $70,000 or $300,000. If your name came up, you were in. The United States authorities now say that system was abused. They argue that body shops and low-wage employers flooded the lottery with level 1 and 2 roles, crowding out higher skill, higher pay jobs and undercutting American workers. So here's the new rule. Starting the 27th of February 2026 for the fiscal year 2027 H-1B season, the United States will use a weighted selection system, which means every application is tagged to a wage level based on the fact that there is going to be a situation where we are going to divide based on Department of Labor data. So let's think of it like a raffle, but the tickets aren't equal. Wage level 1, 1 ticket. Wage level 2, 2 tickets. Wage level 3, 3 tickets. Wage level 4, 4 tickets. So if you're level 1 and someone else is level 4, they are 4 times more likely to be selected. Earlier, nearly 70% of registrations sat in level 1 and 2. Now their odds are sharply cut. While top tier roles get a boost, and then, of course, the second hit, which is a presidential proclamation, which now requires up to $100,000 extra per new H-1B cases. This exception cannot be granted. Officials say the extraordinary is rare. Officially, this is about low-cost foreign labor is out. Even the best will need to justify very high salaries. The changes don't stop at selection. So from December 15th, the US State Department has added expanded online presence and social media vetting for all H-1B and H-4 applicants worldwide. This applies to first users, renewals, every nationality. So the result, as far as that is concerned, is H-1B holders traveling to India for weddings, funerals, or short visits now risk getting stuck outside the United States for months. Internal advisories actually from Microsoft, Google, Apple warn employees, which is avoid non-essential international travel. Be cautious if your visa stamp is nearing expiry. Appointments are being pushed to mid-2026 in some consulates. So, well, the American dream is no longer just harder to enter. It's actually easier to fall out of. You could have a job, a home, a child in school, for example, let's say in Seattle, and one delayed visa appointment in Chennai can put your entire life in complete chaos. The big question, well, that's this. Will this break figure out a method in terms of what it will do to Indian IT? The short answer, well, no. Not like it would have a decade ago, because by now, what has happened is it will change who wins and who loses. So, from recent earnings calls, Infosys, which is H-1B employees, are now a minority. US workforce, largely local, which is TCS, for example, 500 H-1Bs this year. If we talk about the other big aspects, which is like Wipro, over 80% local US staff, 250 H-1Bs over 5 years. HCL Tech, few hundred H-1Bs annually. Tech Mahindra, less than 1% of global workforce on H-1B. LTI Mindtree is the outlier. Still more dependent, but building near-shore centers. So the large Indian IT firms already adapted. More local US hiring, near-shoring to Mexico, Canada, Eastern Europe, offshore and remote delivery for them. So this means higher costs for niche H-1B talent, visa reserved only for high-value roles, slower ramp-ups for on-site heavy projects. Well, they'll survive. The real pain hits elsewhere. Body shops dependent on cheap level 1 visas, fresh MS graduates with loans and entry-level wages, mid-career engineers who saw H-1B as the upgrade path. So for them, the message is quite blunt. If you are not niche, senior, or genuinely top tier, your odds just dropped dramatically. Every year, tens of thousands of Indians spend 30 to 80 lakh rupees on a US master's, take education loans assuming H-1B salaries, plan life around OPT to, well, an H-1B to a green card. Now, the hit comes from multiple angles. Selection odds fall for entry-level roles. Costs rise, forcing companies to be very selective. Travel becomes a gamble. And of course, psychologically, something shifts. For years, this script was simple. US में settle होना है. Now, families are asking, is this even worth the risk? Or should we build careers in India, Europe, Canada, the Middle East, or fully remote? The pipeline won't stop, but it will become thinner, richer, and far more elite. And of course, now, here comes the front page take. Let's be honest. For many Indians, success followed one path, which was go to America, get H-1B, get a green card, life sorted. America has quietly replied to that by saying this: we'll still take you, but only if you're expensive, exceptional, and essential. Indian IT will adapt. Big tech will still hire the best. The real shock is for ordinary, hardworking engineers who believed the lottery was their equalizer. There's an irony here, which is just as America tightens the door, India is finally building the infrastructure, AI ecosystem, and digital stack to keep talent here. Or, well, bring it back. Maybe the American dream isn't dead. Maybe it's just gone premium. And maybe the next big dream for Indian tech talent won't be a US zip code, but global work, Indian roots, and leverage built from right here. I'd like to say this. आज American dream नहीं टूट रहा, बस Indian dream finally जग रहा. Please do let us know what you think in the comments below. Here's Front Page by AIM Network. Like, share, subscribe, and always remember, think AI, think AIM.